In any kind of workplace emergency, the goal seems pretty simple, right? Get everyone to safety. But what if the biggest danger isn't the fire alarm itself, but just not knowing? Not knowing if everyone actually made it out okay? Let's dive into that.
You know, this quote just hits the nail on the head. The hazard, the fire, the spill, whatever it is, that's just the trigger. But the real chaos, the panic, the bad decisions, the escalating danger, that's all fueled by uncertainty. Not knowing who is safe and who might still be inside is the real enemy here.
I mean, you can picture this scene, can't you? Everyone's huddled in the parking lot, it's probably starting to rain, a manager's trying to yell names over the noise from a soggy piece of paper, the radios are crackling, and after all that frantic effort, one single, terrifying question is just hanging there. And that is the million-dollar question. It's not, is the building empty? The question is every single person accounted for? Because as we're about to see, the old ways of doing things leave a huge, dangerous amount of room for doubt.
And look how fast it all falls apart. Just 3 minutes after the alarm, a contractor who nobody's really tracking slips out a side door. Totally invisible. And it takes a full 10 minutes before anyone even starts a head count. And they're using a roster that was probably out of date the second it was printed. The system is broken before it even gets going.
So, this really gets us to the core conflict. Let's first dig into the traditional way this is all handled, an approach that's really built on pure guesswork, and see why it just crumbles when the pressure is on. And the difference is pretty stark, right? On one side, you've got paper lists, static-filled radios, and people just improvising under incredible stress. On the other side, a live, constantly updating roster and a clear, guided workflow that you can repeat every single time. This isn't just about cool tech. It's about having a real process that can actually withstand a crisis. Think about it. A modern workplace is like a revolving door. So many safety plans are built on this really dangerous assumption that it's employees only. But what about everybody else? The contractors, the visitors, the delivery guy? If your plan doesn't account for every single person who could be on site, it's not a plan. It's a massive liability. Okay, so now let's break down the specific failure points. These are the hidden gaps in those old paper-based plans where accountability just completely falls apart during an emergency. Right. This is a big one. It's a really common and pretty dangerous assumption. A lot of places feel safe because, hey, they've got a key card system, but leaning on that data alone can give you a totally false sense of security. And here's why. A badge swipe tells you who came in, but it tells you nothing about who made it out safe. It's just a starting point for who might be in the danger zone. It can't tell you if someone left for lunch, or more importantly, if they've actually checked in at the muster point. You need that positive confirmation. Okay, so that's the problem with just tracking employees. But the next big gap is even wider. What in the world do you do about all the non-employees? Your visitors, your contractors? Honestly, this is probably the biggest blind spot of all. Their information is often completely gone in an emergency. I mean, think about it. Where's that visitor sign-in sheet? It's sitting on the reception desk, inside the very building you just evacuated. That critical info is totally inaccessible, turning those people into dangerous unknowns that can delay an all clear. On top of all that, the roster is never, ever static. With hybrid work, people in meetings, people moving between buildings, the list of who is actually on site changes minute by minute. Any printed list is basically a history book by the time you actually need it. It's already wrong. And at the end of the day, we have to factor in human nature. Under extreme stress, even the most well-trained person can forget what they're supposed to do. People don't always use the designated exit, they just follow the herd. So any plan that relies on people being perfect in a crisis is, well, it's a plan that's designed to fail. All right, so we have really hammered on the problems. Let's flip the script and talk about the solution. How does a modern mustering system give you that certainty in real time? At its heart, it's a system that's designed to do one thing really, really well. Replace all that chaos with absolute clarity. It gives you a single source of truth, a live dashboard that shows you exactly who has been accounted for, and more importantly, who hasn't. A good mustering system really just boils all the complexity down to answering these three simple but absolutely critical questions. It takes you from, I have no idea, to a clear, actionable list of exactly what to do next. And a modern system isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. It has to be flexible because every workplace is different. Whether you've got employees checking in on their own phones, a manager using a tablet to check off their team, or a simple kiosk at the assembly point, the goal is always the same: make checking in fast and totally frictionless.
But for any of this to actually work when you need it most, it needs to have a few non-negotiables. It has to give you a live status view that you can actually trust. It absolutely has to be resilient, meaning it works even when the Wi-Fi is down and the power is out. And it needs to be smart, integrating with your other systems to automatically close all those dangerous accountability gaps we talked about earlier.
And when you get this right, the payoff is huge. First, speed. You get a much faster all clear, which lets you get back to business sooner. Then, accuracy. You get way fewer false alarms, which means you're not sending first responders into danger for no reason. And maybe most important of all, calm. You replace panic and rumors with control and confidence. As we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final but really crucial distinction. It's a simple idea, but it totally reframes the entire goal of an emergency plan. See, just getting people out of the building, that's only step one. That's what we call evacuated. But the real goal is safe. And you can only declare people safe when you have positively accounted for every single person. Without that confirmation, the incident is still open, the risk is still there. It all boils down to this: accountability is the decision point. That moment when you hit 100% certainty is the moment leaders can make the critical call. They can either stand down and give the all clear, or they can escalate and hand first responders a short, precise list of exactly who they need to look for and where. So I'll leave you with this question to think about for your own workplace. If the alarm went off right now, how long would it really take you? 5 minutes? 30? An hour? If the answer is anything longer than a few minutes, or worse, if the answer is I don't know, then you have an accountability gap. And that's a gap that no organization can afford.